You are listening to the Call to Action podcast, where we aim to inspire, educate, and inform entrepreneurs and self-starters on tech and tips related to navigating this ever-changing world. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to episode 25 of the Call to Action podcast. I'm your host, Shantae, and on today's show, I'm going to share some information on the importance of marketing, but from a consumer's perspective. But before I go into the topic, I have an inspirational quote that I'd like to share. This one is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And here is the inspirational quote for episode 25 of the Call to Action podcast. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Ralph Waldo Emerson. That is for all of my entrepreneurs out there, guys. Think about that statement and how powerful that is. To me, that sums up being an entrepreneur in general. We do not go where the path already is. We are blazing a new trail. So yes, guys, I love that quote. So I hope you enjoyed it as well. Again, that was from Ralph Waldo Emerson. If you missed episode 24 of the Call to Action podcast, as always, it is a must listen. In that podcast, I share some tips on how to be effective while working from home. And these tips came from my friends in the writing community. And I must say, they shared some really good advice. Some really good advice. If you have not listened, make sure that you go and check it out after listening to this episode. But I'm going to share a little clip with you so that you can hear some of the wonderful tips that was shared. And follow them for more great advice on Twitter. So here is what they said, and these are in no particular order. The first response was to make a to-do list. Another one was to meditate. A third was to turn off the apps on your phone and then try to focus 20 minutes at a time. The fourth response I got was to listen to music to drown out the background noise and to focus. Number 5, have a checklist and backup plans. Number 6, which is very important, do not stress. Number 7. Make sure to check out the complete episode on ctamarketing.biz. The way you get to that is that you go to the site, you click on podcast on the menu, and then you will see that podcast listed, as well as the other previous episodes. So let's hop right on into today's episode, which is about the importance of marketing your product or service, but from a consumer's perspective. Now, before I go into the details, because I'm going to share a personal experience, which is actually what inspired this podcast, but I did some research about online marketing. So to help put this into perspective, I did a little bit of research and I'm going to share with you what I found. So here's some interesting data that I found from Oberlo.com. And here's one fact. An estimated 1.8 billion, yes, 1.8 billion with a B, people worldwide purchase goods online. Another is that nearly half of the consumers shop more on mobile than in store. Did you hear that? And nearly half of the consumers shop more on mobile than in store. Now, I have some other information that I got from optinmonster.com. And here's something else that so far, they say that 69% of Americans have shopped online and that 25% Americans shop online at least once per month. Also, the majority of these shoppers, they're saying 59%, bought clothing items and that 47% bought their first item on Amazon. So let me share a personal experience with you all so that you can know where this podcast came from, the inspiration for this episode in particular. So basically, I was looking at a product I was looking to buy, and apparently the product launched overseas. I didn't find this out until I was doing some research. So I'm on Amazon, I'm looking, I'm like, okay, cool product. I'm looking at getting it, but then it had a good price. It had good features, but there were no reviews and there was nothing else on it. So I said, okay, let me look other places. So I look on social media. There was not enough out there. So I went to YouTube and bingo, I did find some information out there, but it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So what ended up happening was I did not get that product because it had, one, no ratings on Amazon at all. It was a brand new product launch that was just launching in the United States or in America, and it had been launched in other countries. So when I went to YouTube and I saw the videos, they had videos, but they were not in English. And I was really honestly looking to find information that would help me with making the decision to purchase this product. I really wanted to get it. So I ended up not buying that product. I went with the more expensive one just because I was more comfortable, because it did have reviews, it had videos, and a lot of that information was actually housed on Amazon.com, which is where I was buying the product. So with that being said, let's talk about the importance of marketing your product from the perspective of the consumer. So at a minimum, if you're selling products, look at it like this. If someone's looking to buy your product, they want to know what they're getting. They want to know that others have used your product and that they like it or didn't like it, or they're sharing what they didn't like about the product, or they're sharing what they did like about it. They're also sharing information about how to use it. So let me go through just some things that I wanted to share with you all as entrepreneurs, as you are launching your product or your service, just making sure that you're keeping the consumer in mind. So here's a few things I'd like to share. Have reviews and ratings for your product, because if people can learn about your product through the experience of others, one, it lets you know what your audience is saying about your product, so you get a pulse of what you can do better. But then also, it can help make a sale. If someone's looking to buy something and you have all the information that they need about your product in a place where it's easy for them to find, because they're going to buy from that place, particularly like on Amazon, for example, then make sure that you have reviews and ratings for your products. And the way you do that is ask people who have purchased your product to leave you reviews. Now, people do research products on Amazon, search engines, and social media, which I call the new search engine. Yes, I call social media the new search engine. And I have a podcast about that, so make sure you go back and check that one out. But when you have a new product launch, have your reviews, because they do create awareness. And as you're getting the product off the ground, then do giveaways. Post those giveaways on social media. And I have other podcasts that talks about launching products and having that information out on social media and doing your marketing with social media. I gave information on free campaigns versus paid campaigns, but go back and check that out, because my experience, I was like, wow, these companies, they need to know to make sure that you're really marketing your product so people can be educated. It's more than just creating awareness about your product. People are looking now for practical information. They want to know, when I buy this, is it going to work and give me what I need? Or does someone else have it and they have something information-wise that's going to help me to use it better? But those are the kind of things that people are looking for now, not just being aware of your brand or your product. They want more information, such as the example that I gave. And have others review your product by posting videos on YouTube, or have them post it on Amazon or wherever your product is sold. Just make it as easily accessible as possible. When you have others review your product or even your company, have information out there that are instructional. Give step-by-step instructions on how to get things set up with your product. Or if you're having others post reviews, have them show step-by-step how they use the product and any tips or tricks that they have used that are not in your basic instructional manual. You'd be surprised how helpful this information is to consumers. Basically, you want them to demonstrate the product. Now, for the product I was looking at, they had launched in other non-English speaking countries, but they were just starting to sell their product in America. And I could tell because they had no marketing that was for English-speaking people. So with that information moving forward, I would advise any company that's launching a product in America or any English-speaking countries, or to an English-speaking market, I should say, just make sure that you have reviews done in English. If you have videos that are on YouTube, have them translated. Now, the company that I was looking at, they did have their videos with the English subtitles, but it's not the same when you're trying to really fully understand how a product works. So if you can have those videos translated into English, then that will be very, very helpful. Or have it translated into the language that you're marketing to. So just keeping your audience in mind is basically what I'm getting at. So having the content, your marketing materials, your videos in the language of the people that you are selling to or marketing to helps in the following 3 ways. So one is that the audience will trust the content instead of questioning the content in the subtitles in the videos, for example, like what I said before. The second is that if the content and reviews are positive, they will see that it is a good product, even if the majority of the reviews are from other countries. As long as you have some from English-speaking countries or that are in English, then it will help make the decision to buy a little more comfortable for consumers, especially if they are unfamiliar with your brand. And number 3, it allows for consumers to connect with your brand or product, which could increase your sales. So keep in mind that when buying online, people are relying on information that they receive online. This means that they are looking not only at the reviews on the online store, but they're also using search engines, social media, and YouTube, because the videos provide a very rich experience and you can provide a lot of content in the videos. Now, cover your bases when launching your products and make sure to include multiple avenues for others to learn about your product or your brand. The great thing about this is that it can be done with little to no monetary investment, but it will require some innovation and creativity. So make your plan and launch it. So again, go back and listen to the episode where I share creative ways to market your business using social media. It's on ctamarketing.biz. Just go there and click on podcast and you will see the episode there. Something I like to add as well is that to help incentivize people to leave product reviews, you may have to give out a few free products in exchange for a review. This is not uncommon. I have seen this done, but this will be very helpful, especially for new product launches. So just see what you can do. If you have the ability to ship out products for free in exchange for reviews, then do that and make sure you send it to people who have a good reputation for leaving honest, good reviews. Now I have one last note. We've all purchased something online. So for the consumers, please provide honest reviews and ratings. This is very important, and it not only helps the company to make improvements for their products, but it also helps other consumers to make a purchase. So that's all I have for today, everyone. This concludes today's episode of the Call to Action podcast. And remember, do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Until next time. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Call to Action podcast. Make sure to visit me on my blog at ctamarketing.biz. There, you can find articles for entrepreneurs and self-starters on tech and tips to help navigate this ever-changing world. Until next time.